What's going on, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. We are back. It is Wednesday night, so you know it's the local celebrity spotlight. I should write a rap to that. That was really nice. It's Wednesday night, so it's the local celebrity spotlight. I'm looking nice. Yeah. That's the first bars of a hit. I think I can take that. I can run with that. So what's going on? What's going on? Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is the local celebrity spotlight. I am your host, Regina Lewis, and we're about to get started. I got Gina Mocha in the building. Gina Mocha is in the building. She's backstage right now, getting prepared for this great interview. Not that I'm great, but that she's great. So I'm excited to talk to her. Y'all know I'm here every week. So if you are joining us, please go ahead and share this video out. Let's go ahead and get this out to the people. Let them know that we are going to be live in approximately 2 minutes. Y'all know I like to start on time. So please join us if you can. I'm sharing this out now, and I'll be starting at 7 o'clock. So as you're coming in, go ahead and share this out. And I want to go ahead and put this out there also while I'm doing this. If you are somebody who's in the community and you're like, hey, I watch this guy all the time and I want to know how to get on his show, I'm going to tell you it's not that hard. All you got to do is go to my website, www.realtalkwithregion.com, and fill out the local celebrity spotlight form, and I will bring you on too. I don't restrict it to my friends and my family. It's for anybody who's doing great. And because of COVID, I got a little creative, and now I can interview anybody anywhere. So you don't even have to be in the low country. You can be in Saskatchewan. You can be in Japan. I mean, I'm not going to do it on your time zone. I'm doing my time zone, but we can do this. You know what I mean? So please share this out. Share. Let your people know that we are live. Real Talk with Regina is about to go in. If you didn't watch my show last night, I had a great interview with Miss Buffy Lewis, formerly known as Buffy the Body, talking about her great business, Brick Built Apparel. And I actually locked in a sponsor last night. Shout out to Science to See. I see my cousin John Lewis out there. We finally got a sponsorship with Science to See. So I'm excited about working with them and getting the word out of Real Talk with Regina. But if my calculations are correct, I got less than 30 seconds and we're going to get started. But I'm going to ask again that you guys please share this out. Let these streets know that we are live, baby. We are live. Share. If you're watching this on replay, just wait a couple seconds and we're going to be rolling. I promise. And I am not a man who lies. So with that being said, well, what's that? I'm trying to share on my, all right, there we go. On my story. My story. Boom. And then share it on this story. And you share it on your story. If you can share this on your story, I greatly appreciate that as well. All right. Let's do this, man. Let me bring my screen up. Oh. All right. Hello, world, and welcome back to Real Talk with Regina, where nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. I am your host, Regina Lewis. Now, here on Real Talk with Regina, everything's debatable, so on any given week, we can be discussing anything from sports, music, to politics. You name it, we'll discuss it. As I stated, my name is Regina Lewis. Now, one of the goals of Real Talk with Regina is to shine a light on the great things that are happening right here in the Low Country. I know we talk about everything that's going on all around the world. We talk about Kansas, we're going on in Wichita, Kansas, and we talk about what's going on in St. Louis, Missouri. We talk about what's happening in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and we talk about what's happening in California, New York. But I'm telling you that right here in the Low Country, we have people doing amazing work. And tonight, my special guest, return guest, my cousin, my homie, aka Miss Regina Duggins, Gina Mocha. Thank you for joining me, love. You are on mute. All right. What's up?
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
You already know. You already know. Please introduce yourself to the audience for those who may not be familiar with you.
My name is Regina Duggins. I also go by Gina Mocha, local poet,
You're,
an educator, and I'm the founder of Charleston Black Pride. And I'm also newly running as a candidate for South Carolina House District 111.
mm, mm. All right. So I know for some people, this is we've met,
All
multiple
right.
times. But I want to make sure that we do a little bit of background before we get into your current aspirations. So just give a little background on your history and what brought you to this place.
All right. Well, I'm originally born and raised from Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York, and family of 6. I'm the youngest. My dad was killed when I was 3 years old. So my mom, a single mother, raised me. I went to New York City public schools, graduated, went to college, and started going into the education route in the education field. I received my bachelor's degree and I started teaching 4th grade. And during that time, I had a miscarriage in the front of my classroom, and it was very hard for me. But God had another plan for me. So 2 months later, I was blessed to raise 2 of my deceased brother's children, and at the time they was 5 years old. So they came to live with me. A year later, I was only 24 at the time. A year later, I had gotten custody of my sister's baby. She was a week old. And then a year after that, I have gotten custody of 2 more of my sister's children. And at the time, they was 4 and 9. And one is severely and profoundly MR and autistic and nonverbal. 24 years old now, but I've had a lot of growth raising 5 children, 26 years old, fighting hard for my family and keeping them together. So during that time, I wanted something better. So that's how I got to Charleston, South Carolina. My family's originally from St. George, South Carolina. So when I came down here for visiting as childhood and stuff, this was a place that I always loved. So 10 years ago, it's about to be 10 years come August, I moved here to Charleston, South Carolina, and started getting involved in the community. My kids was going to Burke High School, James Simmons. So with James Simmons, I started to work on the PTA. I was a PTA president. I did SIC. Just kept on doing after school programming. Then I moved to being a daycare director at Zion Olivet for several years. Then I went on to Sanders Clyde, and I was the assistant coordinator for Kaleidoscope. Then from there, teaching at Military Magnet Academy. So I've done a lot of work in the community and just building myself up on this 10-year journey, as well as obtaining my master's degree in special education and a doctoral degree in education for administration and emphasis in K through 12. And then I went on to, just for about 2 years, going on 3, I've been District 20 constituent school board member. I was also the educational director for the League of Women Voters. So I've been out here. Like I said, I've been in all realms and trying to get all the knowledge I possibly can, working with a lot of people and a lot of circles, and trying to really help as much as I possibly can. That community work started when I was young myself. I was 11 years old. I started my first dance group because I am a rape survivor and I didn't want anything happening to the children in my neighborhood. So I asked my mom, could I turn my living room into a dance studio? And she let me. So they would come to me. I'd take them to free lunch. And then after that, they'll learn dance, and my mom would cook cake and have different stuff. And so they stayed with me till about 6:30 because, we were latchkey kids when we were younger. So I just didn't want them wandering the building and just something happened to them that happened to me. So I kind of got strength at that age. 16, I became the youth president of my tennis association, and people were looking at me crazy, like, what are you doing coming here with these big issues? And you're only a teen yourself. But I was fighting for teens issues and issues that was going on in my apartment and things like that. And wanting to make sure the block party was going right, making sure the basketball courts was up to par because summer was coming. I mean, going around the building, collecting money for flowers when people had passed away. So it was, listen, I've been in community since I was young enough to say I was in community.
And that's one thing I definitely know about you. Every time I've ever seen you, you either been here on the show or I've seen you out at an event in the community. Let's talk a little bit more about your work. I know that you started last time you came on. You were talking about Charleston Black, Charleston Black Pride. Can
Yes.
you talk a little bit about starting that organization and what went into that and where you guys are now?
Okay, so Charleston Black Pride was started a year ago. So this was our 1 year. COVID-19 kind of postponed a lot of our 1 year events, but we're still going to highlight and do some things. Charleston Black Pride is an LGBTQ organization, and I was first on Charleston Pride Board, and I just felt like doing something separate and highlighting the Black issues is different from when you're under the umbrella of just all the other prides. So when you're with the Black Pride, you're more doing solidarity and healing and empowerment. And so that's the focus in the realm and the route that we go with Charleston Black Pride, with highlighting that in the community, financial literacy for Black LGBTQ housing. We do food drives. We've done a memorial for a trans community. So that was part of the reason why I wanted to start it here in Charleston. I felt that, hey, I'm here. I'm a lesbian out woman, and I'm proud to say, and I know that there are lesbian people and LGBTQ people here of color in the community. So I just wanted to make sure that they had a safe space that they can come to of all ages. And if they wanted to speak to me or my other board members, at least it was representation here.
So in working together, what type of events were you guys able to put on?
We have done Thanksgiving dinner. We've done a party event. We've done HIV/AIDS awareness during Black History Month. We've done give back to the community. We've also did a spotlight on a local Black-owned restaurant, Spot 47. Just meeting with politicians to talk to them about our issues that we do have in the community. We've had just different things that came across that we needed to address, and a great turnouts, and just still doing, we just did a food drive on the east side. So just giving back and letting them know that we're present even during COVID-19. We didn't want people to think that, we were just here for partying purposes, social gatherings, events. No, we're here for education, enlightenment, and just letting people know that we're their extension or their, family.
That's really great. I want to make sure that I take a point. This is really the baseline I'm trying to establish is you do work. And I mean, like I know the story. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So I want to make sure that we do establish the fact that you are out here because as we get into the discussion about the run for SC House District, to some people they may say, who is this person? We don't know her, but I promise you, if you've been out in the community, you've seen her. You may not have spoken to her, but she's been out there. And because you are a frontline soldier, that's one thing I know for you about you for sure. Let's talk about constituent house district, constituent school board. You won that last election cycle, correct?
The elections. So with that, we work based out of Burke High School, District 20 constituent school boards. We mostly deal with those that are coming there with suspensions, or we do also working with rezoning. We haven't really started on that yet. We will be, but we'll also work on attendance zones and things like that, people moving in and out or wanting transfers. So some of the biggest things that we do get is, cases from schools, fighting, bullying, things like that. So we get to, of course, have some one-on-one discussions with the students that are coming with the infractions and trying to see how best way we can service them. I'm not big on expulsions because, there's so many routes and so many things that's not in place or that can be in place. Sometimes the families may need counseling sessions that we can possibly suggest to them, or mentoring programs. We make suggestions to them, see what wraparound services the school needs or doesn't have, or has the child been in there? So, I kind of take that to heart. So with me I do a pajama drive for the last 3 years, and it's for CD in kindergarten. I wanted to start putting my face out. And this is something that I did off the cuff. This is not what you do if you're a constituent board. I just wanted to do it. But I did it with the 5 local schools that's in downtown Charleston, and bringing teddy bears and pajamas, because that's something that I had gotten when I was younger, and I did it with my family, was getting pajamas for Christmas if there's nothing else. And they loved it. I made sure people send brand new character ones, so that, because they have character parades during the holidays, so that the kids feel a part. And the teachers were starting to tell me that it was kind of a stressor with some of the families and I said, don't worry, we got it. And we've gotten like 250, 300 pajamas. And I dress up and put on my elf ears and my bell shoes and Christmas shirt, and go with a bag and stuff. I have my girls with me, my kids, and we drop it off to the classroom, and they are so amazed. So I just didn't want to be a constituent board member that sat behind the time that they only see me as when I'm debating on their life goals and their next endeavors. I really wanted to be more involved in the community where they saw me, and doing all that I possibly can to just make a little difference for the youth. And then even with my constituency, so I'm an educator at Military Magnet Academy, and I take a liking to my seniors. So whenever for the last probably 3 years, I've taken them either out to dinner, or I've done something with them. This year is the only time that we wasn't able because of COVID-19, but I went and supported them for their celebration. They had a parade. And so I went to that, make sure I'm present. I'm not just in the school as the reading interventionist for middle school. I work in all assets. Anywhere they need me, I'm there. Even mentoring. And then as a reading interventionist, we've done Thanksgiving dinner boxes to them. We did Stop the Violence. I did a Stop the Violence concert with Military Magic and have the band perform. And this was, out in James Island. So we've done, I've done so many different things that's out of the realm of what they pay me. But this is because of my heart and my passion.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it shines through. It shines through in everything you say, and it shines through in your actions. My wife, my mom actually pointed out one thing that I wanted to make sure we do highlight. You were a recipient of the Emmanuel 9 Spotlight Award last year at the 2019 Spotlight Awards for which was held by the Spot 47. Shout out to Deborah Powell, Deborah Anderson Powell. I love you, Miss Deborah, and I hope you're healing. All right, we miss I miss you. I got to come by and see you. But can you talk a little bit about what that was and what that experience was like for you?
Well, I won the Ethel Lance Award, and Ethel Lance was one of the ones who was murdered or killed in Emmanuel 9. Which was horrible, but I found out the type of woman that she was and why they kind of matched us together. They said she was a type of woman who was for her family, but she was tough. She stood up and she was strong-willed, and everybody knew her for getting the job done and doing what she needed to do. I spoke with her granddaughter I met at the event, and she told me, she said, when we read your bio, we automatically said that this is the perfect match. And I felt honored. It really touched me and enlightened me, for winning that award. And part of it was highlighting being a servant leader. So I'm like, I've been a servant leader since I was 11 years old doing community work. So how people say, don't worry about the glory, it's going to come. Just be patient. And was when I started shining. And I was just like, I didn't even know how to accept that. We was there. And when they kept giving the gifts and stuff, I was passing them to my mother. I was like telling my mom, I gave a big thing. I give this all back to my mom because she didn't birth me. And my mom, she was later in life when she had me. She could have made any decision and choices, but she decided to keep me. She had a real rough pregnancy with me, even in delivery. I could have gone, I could have passed because of the direction I was turned, but something turned me around. And my mom has never had a C-section, and they had everything prepped, and I turned and saved her from getting cut. So it's just like when she tells me those stories, I have anything what else to do to pay her back in that kind of way. And she said I don't owe her anything, but I feel like, come on, she's done a lot and she's been through a lot. And just paying homage. So when I won the award, I was like, Ma, this is for you too,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because those nights that I was out and doing my poetry and being involved in anything, she held the house down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, or she supported me, and I was glad that because she's been sick, and so I was glad that she was able to be a part of that night too. So it was
Yeah.
really monumental. It was
It was.
really special for me, and everybody that was just awarded and honored, even
Yeah.
if they won an award or not, you still
Right.
felt like you were winners.
Yep.
And that's what I love Miss Deborah for, because
Yep.
many times when you at a celebration, I've been honored in quite a few awards this last year. That one stood out
Yeah.
more, and
It did. Yeah.
it kind of meant a little more because everybody was winners. Nobody
Yeah.
felt like losers in that place. You know,
Yeah.
just your name got highlighted when it came. The story became smaller when it
Yeah.
became you for the winner. But to receive awards all throughout for each of the winners each time was just incomparable to anything. And
Yeah.
it's just like she told us, she said it's going to be better than the Grammys. And listen, I don't know how I feel to be a Grammy winner. I've watched, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that if this is what the Grammy felt like, I could tell you right now, I got it. So I don't need any more or accolades. I'm good.
Yeah, it really was an amazing event. Like I hosted it the year before, and
Wow.
like
Okay.
so like then like she called me and she was like, "Yeah, you're a finalist. You can't host this year." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, well, okay." She's like, "Well, you're a finalist." I'm like, "What?" Like
Yeah.
that, you know. But like you said, you don't do the stuff that you do expecting people to,
No.
you know, give you awards or acknowledge you and stuff. But when it happens, you know, like you said, like I've been acknowledged for things. That was the nicest thing. That was because you know the heart of the people. One, you know the heart behind the award. You know it wasn't
Right.
like corporately driven. It wasn't about, you know, anything other than, you know, people know you, people know the work that you do, and they appreciate it. So even
Yeah.
the people who weren't, you know, quote unquote, you know, winners that night were still winners. Like
Right. Right.
everybody was on one. It was like such a love fest. Like it was dope. But I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure. I
Thank
hope
you.
she's doing it again this year. I
Right.
hope she's doing it again this year because that's an amazing event.
Yes.
Once we know more, then I'll probably put more out about that because we are in the Angel Alliance, so we got to make sure that we
That's right.
do our part with that.
Yes.
But let's talk about your candidacy. Let's talk about now. We've spent 20 minutes building up to this, so now let's talk about it. State House District 111. All right. What went into the decision for you to run for State House District 111?
Good question. Being the voice of the voiceless. I live in this district, and I mean there's amazing people and amazing things that have been done in this community, but I just feel like there's a different voice that needs to come out and to be highlighted and shined. Newness.
Yeah.
I'm about rebirth, and I'm about carrying that torch because people is as good as they can be if they can pass the torch. And so someone that's shadowed in the darkness and didn't really say much, but was there in your presence and watched the person who is in the seat in the role now, it speaks kudos. It speaks volumes to me, you know. But I say everyone comes to a time to change hands, and there's a new breath, a new wind that always needs to come in. And I feel that I'm ready. You know, I've done a lot of work. And 10 years is a long time to actually say that from day one, stepping here in Charleston, I was just like, where can I help? What can I do?
Yeah.
You know, putting that time in. I didn't just come out the blue and just say, oh, I got this. I know. I mean, I still don't got it all together, but I know people and I know what the people wants and needs because I have wants and needs myself. You know, and I just want to make sure that some little girl that looks up to me, that's a plus size thick girl, can say, wow, she's there, and I could be there too if I put that work in and stay the track, you know.
Yeah.
So that's basically how I got to this point now to say that I want to run, and I mean, whether I win or lose, I don't feel that I've lost. I feel that I still win because I took a step out into something where everyone's been saying they need new Black women leadership and getting. They kept saying for years, get at the table, find a seat at the table. I've been building tables. Now I'm like, no, I want to sit at the table. I want to make some differences with some movers and shakers in the room. And it so happened to be that this is the district that I'm in. And I said, I know it. I know this district. I mean, I know enough of it. I'm not saying I know everything because I don't.
Right.
but
Right.
I know enough of it so for me to say when you're going to speak about it, you can be able to say, yeah, I know where that place is, or I
Yeah.
know or how to get to that, or I know some people who know or some connection. So I feel a little more comfortable instead of saying, oh, I'm just throwing my hat in and I got this and I'm just find my way. No, this community really can, it with just a little bit of fine tuning, we can be that much greater.
That's great. Great. Question. So, what are the key issues for that district that you believe that you can bring to the table to make just that bit of change?
Well, I'm going to stick with what's present and current now, and this has been underlining. But right now, COVID-19 education is at the forefront. Those are one of my biggest issues. I stand in what I know, and education crosses all everyone in the district, no matter ethnicity, no matter gender, anything. So that's something that I really want to make sure that we highlight and make sure that, you know, with teachers pay and making sure the curriculum is changed, making sure we can work to change mindsets and by educating adults in our community. So education is something that I know for sure. Bringing more recreational programming to our district is a high need, and making sure our youth is working, making sure that all of the stakeholders within the community have a voice. People don't seem to realize that even the drug dealer is a stakeholder in the community.
Yes.
So making sure that we bring all voices in and see how we can utilize them in a positive note to make our community that much better. So there's a high crime rate, of course, with domestic violence being one of the top in South Carolina as a whole. But when you have usually a community impactful all together and not a lot of resources coming in, I mean, we are in a food desert here. So crime and things like that, it just seems like everybody's wanting the same kind of effect, and they're not reaching out people. I want to make sure that that's being done and able to uplift and see how we can do that. There's diversity and there's LGBTQ issues here in this community, and it's always been. So I want to make sure that I mean, this is relatable to me. These are things that I know of, and I can speak firsthand and bring some empathy to it as well. So when you talk about, and I know they've been doing an amazing job working to get the hate crime bill. So that's something to keep pushing forth with different voices on the backing of a hate crime bill. Who knows what would ignite someone else to now say, you know what, maybe it is time, you know, so you never know what's holding people.
Right.
You never know. Affordable housing is another issue here, making sure. So, but once you can do mental health and education and get that, like, it's like almost what District 111 needs is wraparound services. So when you look in all the different entities and everything like that, and you pull it together, you say, wait a minute, when we can get that going, we look at our seniors here with Joyce of Floyd Manor, when we can get it all that from birth to seniors, it's an abundance of issues.
Yeah.
But I know we can't do it all, but I know we can highlight and start doing some, and then grassroots organizations can help take care of the other stuff that, you know, we may not be able to do just from the, you know, state house level, but I will keep on fighting until we can get as much addressed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what would you say? I have a question, because I know the incumbent is running against you, correct?
Yes.
So what is the difference? I want you to be able to make your case for why vote for you as opposed to the incumbent.
Okay. Well, one of the reasons is that I'm coming, like I said, with a new voice and a new vision. And an innovative plan. I'm working on a comprehensive plan and different sections that I just spoke about, different issues.
Yeah.
I'm also an educator, and I mean, as far as up to a doctoral level and having that in the classroom experience, I'm working on the front end and the back end. I'm a parent, and, you know, I mean, so when you have all of those combinations, you come with a different vision, a different view, and it's current stuff that I'm doing now. It's not things that I say, well, in the past or years ago, I was in education. No, I'm in education right now, and I see what's prevalent and pressing for teachers and for parents and for the administration and staff. So, you know, I have that fresh in the forefront. So that's the difference that I will bring. If someone is looking at me as far as being a candidate, I mean, both of us have a lot of parallel fights, you know. But like I said, a female voice versus a male voice perspective is always going to be two different folds.
Yeah, yeah,
And so that's some of the ways that I come about it. But we both are strong leaders. We
yes.
both want so much done for our community, and we want what's best, you know. But like I said, sometimes we do know that innovation, new voice, new sound, new vision
Mhm.
can really make a difference. And just coming with the new wealth of backing.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you for sharing that. I want to make sure I ask that question because it's
Oh no, that's
important if people,
fine.
because people are they're going to have to on June 9th in, as they're leading up
Yeah,
to doing early voting, they have to ask that question like, okay, cool, what is she bringing? And you
right.
definitely have made the case for yourself to be that candidate. I have one more question for you. If for whatever reason you don't win the primary and don't go into the general election, would you put your support behind the other candidate? And if you are that person, would you reach out to them to ask for their support?
Yeah, most definitely. Like I've been to a lot of Wendell Gilliard's events in the past. I've supported him. I've been at some things that he has done in the community. We've actually stood hand in hand and arm together when we had candlelight vigils for a shooting or a killing that was on the east side. So
Hmm.
it's not like I'm coming on attack of him or I have some
Right.
animosity
Right.
towards him. Not at all. No. And of course, I mean he's another black male. He's another black person.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
that's in whole. He's a Democrat holding the seat, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that representation is there. So
Mhm.
of course, like I said, I'm there to help whomever wins, and I'm going to still be out on the fight in the community,
Yeah.
even win or lose. That's not a win or lose. That's why I said in the beginning, I'm still going to be winning in that sense because I was not afraid.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
didn't let fear or his 12-year or 10 years or who he knows and then to stop me from being the woman that I am and standing in a place that feels that I can too be a winner of it and continue to take District 111 to a higher heights from the state house level. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Let's see. We have a question from the audience. What is going to make you stand out for the elderly community, that they would want to vote for you?
Well, one is that like I said, I'm a caregiver of my 76-year-old mom, and she comes with the wealth of issues or things and support. So I know how it feels to make sure that she's getting care, making sure I've sat down and spoke with social workers and making sure that she's getting what she needs. So making sure that, like, okay, I can use Joseph Floyd Manor right now. I'm doing an initiative to for Grandparents Day, adopt a grandfather, adopt a grandparent.
Mm.
So we're starting there, getting gifts on Father's Day to a grandfather, and seeing what other initiatives they need, if they need, appliances, if they need some kind. So making sure that we hear the seniors' voices as well. If they need accessories, they need more outings. I mean, I noticed that my mom for COVID-19, she's been home a lot, and
Mm.
I haven't been able to take her really out because she's at high risk. But I would like it if there was, more making sure these senior living or senior activity program places have programs that's really running and that's helping and assisting our seniors.
Mhm.
So, those are the things we want to keep educating, keep giving them life, keep highlighting their stories and making sure that their voices are included because they are a pivotal and important part of our society and in all communities.
Mm. Absolutely.
So I will, of course,
Absolutely.
will talk to them and ask them, what do they want? Not
Yeah.
just come on the strength that I know what they need. I know from what my mom needs
Right.
at 76, I go to the store and do errands and she loves her makeup. So I make sure I get that. So her take care of her personal needs, and she may want to go here and there, but I really want to sit down and I will ask them, what would you want to see me do
Mm.
for you to be your voice up there? What
Absolutely.
do you feel that's not being more addressed,
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. I feel like I covered all my questions. I guess I also I lastly want to ask if someone wants to support you, what can they do to support you to help you get to where you need to be?
Please come to go to Duggins, Duggins, the number 4, house111.com. And you'll get to find out more about my campaign and my run. Of course, donations is always welcome. Vote for me once you've gone through and checked me out, or Ballotpedia I'm on, you can even call me. I mean, I'm 718, I give every 807-8599. I'm fine. Call me. Yes. Text me. Have a one-to-one conversation with me. Let me know what your needs and concerns. I'm that transparent and I'm that open. My number is freelance from the organization. So therefore, but I mean, you can always reach me, email me, any way that you feel, because the main thing about when you're working for the people, you want to make sure you're connecting with the people and hearing their voices and not just speaking on behalf. I wanted to connect the story. Like I could say, Rosemary Duggins, my mom said this, and that, not on what Regina thinks that Rosemary Duggins is saying. Two different voices, So I want to carry the voice with the assumption that I know her story, their story, and this is what they need and wants are. So.
I love that. Thank you so much, Gina. It's always love here, man. I respect so much what you do. The work that you do speaks for itself. And if your work speaks for you, then you're just talking a lot. You killing it. And I love you for it. And you always know, anytime after you get past the primary, hey, we going to the general, you already know. Come back on. Let's chop it up and let's get you to that finish line.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I just want to tell people, listen, I know it's a hard time right now with us watching what's going on with the George Floyd case. And I know that those that have brothers and nephews and cousins and even sons, it's tough right now. It's hard. But don't give up on prayer. Don't give up on hope. Believe that there's something that's a blessing that's going to come at the end of all of this struggle that we're going through, even with COVID-19 hitting the African-American communities heavily. There's always something after this storm. So just stay hopeful, stay mindful that there will be a better change coming in the end. And that's all I can just final thoughts to people.
I love that. Don't forget prayer. I definitely want to make sure that we do, send a special prayer out to the families of, we just had Mr. I forgot the guy's name, just recent one. George
Floyd.
Mr. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. It's sad that we have to continue to say these names, but I think it's important that we do say the names so that their names are not forgotten. They say once somebody doesn't truly die until they're forgotten. So we want to make sure we continue to say their names, including, the ones that came before them. But I hate that we continue to have these cases. Thank you for talking about that. I hope that, if you end up in that seat, that you can help write some legislation that can make sure that people aren't able to walk away, from putting bodies in the ground that are supposed to be protecting people. So thank you so much for sharing that. I love you so much.
I love you too. And y'all stay strong, okay? Stay safe.
Give me 1 second. Let me close now. I'll come right back to you. All right. So that is tonight's show. I want to thank you all so much for watching this week. Thank you to Gina Mocha, aka Regina Duggins. Make sure you support her and her candidacy. Find out more about her. Go to www.Dugginsforhouse.com. Dugginsforhouse.com. Go to her website. Find out more about her and what she's doing. Next week's local celebrity spotlight is going to shine on Erica Coakley. Erica Coakley's coming on. She's to talk about her organization and what she's doing to bring attention and awareness to autism in the Low Country and across the state. She also has something else that she's working on, but I can't remember it, but that's okay. If you are doing something in the community that you would like a light shined on, please reach out to me on my website. That's www.realtalkrajan.com so that we can discuss getting you on the show. This and all of my shows, in addition to the Car Chronicles series, is now available for your listening pleasure via Apple, Google, Spotify, and any place you can find podcasts. You can also find it on my website, www.realtalkrajan.com. If you'd like to be made aware of when I go live, because sometimes it is unscheduled, please be sure to click the follow or subscribe tab on the page and turn on the notifications so that you'll know when something new has been posted to the page. I'm going to pause right there because right now I have 120 videos on YouTube, and I have 145 subscribers. Don't do me like that, y'all. I'm dope. In the meantime, follow me on social media to stay up to date on what's happening with Real Talk with Rajan. If you go to any social media site and type in Real Talk Rajan, that's REZSAUN, I'm going to pop up. If I'm not there, I'm probably never going to be there, so don't look for me there. Feel free to leave comments, questions, or whatever else you'd like to say in the comment section or the message section. I love reading your messages and getting your feedback, even when it's negative. I would also appreciate it if you would leave a 5-star rating on my podcast if you're listening on the podcast, and download the podcast. I'm a really dope podcast everywhere you can find podcasts, and review it on Facebook and my YouTube channel. I am currently accepting invitations and speaking engagements and event hosting opportunities. If you would like for me to speak at or host your event, you can request me via my website. You guessed it, www.realtalkwithrajan.com. In closing, always remember, God is everything, and without him, we are nothing. So never forget where your help comes from. And if a man doesn't stand for something, he's bound to fall for anything. Now that is Real Talk. I will see y'all next week. Peace.